Trees that show external growth. Exogenous trees. Deciduous trees yield dash wood, hardwood. Coniferous trees yield dash wood, softwood. Medullary rays are distinct in deciduous trees. Medullary rays are indistinct in coniferous trees. Size of specimen for graveyard test 24 by 2 by 2 inches or 60 by 5 by 5 centimeter. Durability of timber is determined by which test? Graveyard test. The term from which timber is originated? Timbrian. Wood used for engineering purpose is called as timber. The age of a tree can be determined by examining annual rings. Heartwood is also known as duramen or deadwood. The innermost part of a tree, pith or medulla. Strength of timber is minimum across the grain direction. The strength of timber is maximum along the grain direction. Trees that show endward growth, endogenous trees. The outermost annual rings between heartwood and cambium layer, sapwood. The innermost annual rings surrounding the pith is called heartwood. Bamboo is an example of dash tree, endogenous trees. Oak, teak is an example of dash tree, deciduous trees. Sal is an example of deciduous trees. Deodar is an example of dash tree, coniferous tree. The outermost part of a tree that protects it, outer bark. Cracks and fissures are seen in which layer? Outer bark. Outer bark is also known as cortex. The inner bark protects which layer of the tree? Cambium layer. A thin layer of sap between sapwood and inner bark, cambium layer. The sap or nutrients are present in sapwood. Which part is responsible for the present growth of tree? Alburnum. Sapwood is also known as alburnum. The optimum moisture content of timber after seasoning should be in the range of 10 to 12%. The process of removal of moisture from timber is known as seasoning. The age at which a tree attains its maturity, 50 to 100 years. The trees in plain regions are felled during mid-winter season. The trees in hilly regions are felled during mid-summer season. Which of the quality of timber can be improved using Abel's process? Fire resistance. The advantage of concrete pile over a timber pile: no decay due to termites. Which of the following is the measure of ease with which the wood may split? Cleavability. The timber having maximum resistance against white ants is obtained from teak. For the manufacture of plywood, veneers are placed so that grains of adjacent veneers are at right angles. Duration of kiln seasoning 10 to 20 days. Duration of water seasoning 2 to 4 weeks. Rapid seasoning method on a large scale is kiln seasoning. The process by which timber is cut and sawn into sections is called conversion of timber. Which of timber is used to make goods that are used in sports industry? Mulberry. The weight of timber should be taken at a moisture content of 12%. Natural seasoning is also known as air seasoning. Duration of natural seasoning 2 to 4 years. Timber get brittle in which seasoning? Water seasoning. Uniform seasoning occurs in which method? Electrical seasoning. In which seasoning method splitting occurs? Electrical seasoning. Rapid and effective method of seasoning of timber. Electrical seasoning. McNeil's method is an example of seasoning of timber. In which sawing cuts are tangential to annual rings and meet at right angles? Tangential sawing. In which sawing method wastage is maximum? Rift sawing. Radial sawing is also known as rift sawing. Strong timber pieces are obtained from which sawing method? Radial sawing. Common method of conversion of timber. Ordinary sawing. Salt seasoning is also known as chemical seasoning. External cracks can be reduced by which seasoning method? Chemical seasoning. The platform for natural seasoning should be at a height of dash from the ground, 30 cm. Defect due to which cellulose changes to brown color? Brown rot. Defect due to which lignin changes to white color? White rot. Defect in which sap is discolored? Sap stain. Defect in which sap changes to blue color? Blue stain. Moisture content more than how much percentage causes fungal attack? It's 20%. Defect due to sudden falling of tool? Torn grain. Defect due to improper sawing? Diagonal grains. Defect due to improper planing? Chip mark. Which property makes plywood suitable for formwork in construction? High flexibility and dimensional stability. The decay of timber caused by alternative wetting and drying is called wet rot. The decomposition of felled timber caused by fungal attack is known as dry rot. Size of pin knot up to 6.5 mm diameter. Presence of reddish yellow tinge spots surrounding the pith. Foxiness. Presence of white spot on timber. Druxiness. Killing of knots in wood surface is known as knotting. The quantity of wood for the shutters and doors and windows is calculated in meter square. What is the average life of high durable timber in years? It is more than 10 years. Annual rings are the combination of heartwood and sapwood. A piece of timber has distorted spirally along its length is known as twist. Plywood is specified by number of plies. Which trees increase more in length rather than width? Endogenous trees. Knots in timber are signs of branches cut off. A knot that is circular or oval in shape is round knot. Preliminary stage of live knot, it is tight knot. And preliminary stage of dead knot is loose knot. Growth in exogenous trees is fastest in which season? Spring season. Blue stain in timber is due to fungus or fungi. Crack which partly separate the annual rings. Cup shake. Which tool is used for rough dressing of timber? Basula. Peculiar swellings when the branches are improperly cut off. Ringall. Defect caused when the trees get turned to one direction at younger age due to fast blowing wind. Twisted fiber. The defect of timber in which it bent out of shape. Warp. Defect caused due to bending of timber in transverse direction. Cup. Defect caused due to bending of timber in longitudinal direction. Bow. The major drawback of air seasoning of wood is longer duration. The rupture of timber tissues in circular direction. It is cup shakes. The defect caused by imperfect seasoning due to internal stress is called honeycombing. Rupture is another name of upset. Fibers get compressed due to felling of trees known as upset. Twisted fiber is also known as wandering hearts.